My name is Marco Davila. I'm the Senior Vice President of Translational Research. I'm also a physician scientist in the Transplantation and Cell Therapy Service at the Roswell Park Comprehensive Cancer Center in Buffalo, New York. Today I'm going to be speaking about the innovative cell therapy trials that we are developing here at Roswell Park based on research from our investigators at Roswell Park or in partnership with pharmaceutical companies. Starting in malignant hematology, we have a few cell therapy trials that are in development. The first is one that is being developed by Dr. Betts, Brian Betts, who is our vice chair in the Department of Medicine. He and I both developed a CAR targeting CD83, which is expressed on acute myeloid leukemia. We're very excited that this should be open by summer of 2025. It's going to be available for patients with AML or high-risk MDS that has relapsed after initial treatment. A second cell therapy for malignant hematology that is developed based on our research is targeting the CD19 antigen on B-cell malignancies. What is interesting about this CAR, which has been based on research from my laboratory, is that it has a customized signaling domain in the chimeric antigen receptor. So my laboratory has demonstrated that this costimulatory domain is more resistant to exhaustion-inducing stimuli. So based on our research, we anticipate that these CAR T cells will expand and persist longer in patients. And we're going to investigate that in a phase 1 clinical trial for patients at Roswell Park that have various B-cell malignancies. This will include patients that have relapsed or progressed after CAR T-cell therapies, or those patients that are not eligible for a CAR T-cell clinical trial or a CAR T-cell standard care product. The two clinical trials that are targeting AML via CD83 and CD19 with the optimized costimulatory domain are essentially first-in-human trials. CD83 has not been investigated as a cell therapy target or even an antibody-based target in clinical trials. So this is something that is really novel. They are going to be open and available only at Roswell Park. The need for innovative and efficacious cell therapies is really in solid tumor malignancies. And this includes technology that's based on research from Roswell Park, but also that is being developed with our industry partners. So from the laboratory of Dr. Brinchen's, we have a CAR T-cell that he is developing that targets the MUC16 antigen on ovarian cancer, as well as some bladder cancer. This will be a phase 1 clinical trial for patients with relapsed refractory ovarian cancer. What is novel about this technology is that the CAR T-cell is also a gene engineered to express a cytokine. What this cytokine endows the T cells with is the ability to be able to resist a very hostile tumor microenvironment. The first iteration of CAR T cells in solid tumor malignancies really didn't work. In looking at the clinical trials, the science behind this, we believe that's because the tumor microenvironment basically is suppressing the CAR T cells. So Dr. Brinchen's had the great idea to armor these T cells with a cytokine to make them counter those suppressive measures that are present in the tumor microenvironment. And this will be another first-in-human phase 1 clinical trial that's available only at Roswell Park. And this is being developed in partnership with a company that has very innovative technologies to be able to identify new binders very rapidly for tumor antigens. So this is one that we're hoping that will be open by the end of the 2025 calendar year. Another similar co-developed CAR product that is spinning out of Roswell Park Labs is targeting the GPC3 antigen on hepatoma or hepatocellular carcinoma. This is being done in collaboration with a company. This antigen being targeted is GPC3, and the edit that's being introduced in the cell to enable it to resist the tumor microenvironment is a deletion of the TNFR2 gene. The idea behind this technology is that the CAR T cells will not be able to bind the suppressive cytokines, so they'll essentially be able to ignore the signal from the tumor microenvironment to be suppressed. We believe it will be open for patients with hepatocellular carcinoma by summer of this year, a clinical trial that will be also available only at the Roswell Park Cancer Center. We are also opening clinical trials that have been developed by cell therapy companies. They're able to work with essentially some of the inventors of CAR T-cell technology, as well as the robust cell therapy service that has been developed by Dr. Betts as well as myself. These include clinical trials targeting breast cancer. This is innovative cell therapy technology. A protein that targets breast cancer, that protein, when it binds to breast cancer, is engaged by a CAR-like protein on a T cell, and that leads to activation of the T cell and killing of the breast cancer. That's one that will be opening in 2025 for patients with relapsed refractory breast cancer. That's going to be a multi-center trial, and Roswell Park be one of the sites opening that clinical trial. Another clinical trial that will be opening is one that targets the CD70 antigen on renal cell cancer. And this is a multi-center clinical trial. And the reason we are interested in this technology is because it's called an off-the-shelf cell therapy product. So meaning that the T cells aren't extracted from patients and gene engineered off-site. The cells are actually collected from a healthy donor and engineered to target CD70 antigen. They make a huge volume of this product and basically ship aliquots of the products to the patients. So the off-the-shelf cell therapy entity being engineered here is a gamma delta T cell. So the gamma delta T cells are engineered to target CD70. So some benefits to gamma delta is that they are not alloreactive, so we don't have to engineer out the TCRs to prevent alloreactivity. Also, they have inherent anti-tumor activity already, so we think that in addition to the CD70 target, there's going to be the ability for these T cells to be able to potentially kind of kill tumor cells independently of the CD70 CAR. So that's one that is currently going through our protocol review process, and hopefully will be opening in 2025 for patients with renal cell cancer. A clinical trial that we have open right now is for patients with GI or gastrointestinal malignancies that express Claudin 18.2. It is a second-generation CAR that targets this protein that's commonly expressed in GI malignancies such as gastric cancer. And so that is currently open and available for patients. It's a multi-center trial. Roswell Park is one of those sites. We've already enrolled a couple patients on this trial, and it is available for patients with GI malignancies such as gastric cancer that are Claudin 18.2 positive. That's a small selection of cell therapy trials that are open now or soon to be open at Roswell Park. If you think you have a patient that's eligible for a trial, if you want to talk about potential trials for your patients, be very happy to discuss that with you and be partners in the care of your patient.